It sounds like Ruby has heard the haters loud and clear, and she and her Connections partner Jody have a message for them, and it's that they don't care. Which is obvious, I think, because if there was ever a time to have left this cult-like group that everyone is talking about, it probably would have been when Ruby's daughter and the rest of her family were saying how against this group they are and how harmful it's been to their family. But Ruby and Jody are standing strong in their beliefs, and they do not care what other people have to say, whether it is family or people on the internet. And they very much are making it known that they do see all the haters that are out there against them, and they want to tell everyone that they think that those haters are just kids on the internet. They, for some reason, do not believe that actual adults or parents can have opinions on their parenting advice for some reason, but we'll get into it, you guys, because it is just wild how they view people that do not like them. But basically, recently, the two of them were talking about distractions in a recent video series of theirs, talking about how kids asking for one more kiss goodnight or one more bedtime story is just a bad distraction. And it later becomes kind of clear that they both see what the internet has said about the advice that they give, because when they were talking about it, they were talking about how people say that some of the things that they do and preach on their channels is too harsh or too mean. And they were talking about how teens who are unaccepted by their parents might threaten to not visit them in the nursing home or threaten to put them there. And that's definitely something that people have said would happen to these two with the way they talk about raising kids. And Jody tries to say it's just something kids on Reddit say.
And then when they're 15, it looks like, well, if you don't accept me for who I am, then I'm never going to. Why is this one always picked? I'm not going to visit you in the nursing home, or I'm going to put you in a nursing home.
Yeah, I think that's a statement that a bunch of kids got together on Reddit or TikTok, and they just like it because it's really mean, it's really aggressive. And I say to all you youngsters that say that to either me or Ruby or your parents, I'm not interested in having you be around me. If you were my child, I'd look you dead in the eyes and say, I'm not interested in being in a relationship with you. So you don't have to worry about putting me in a nursing home. I will take care of myself. If that's what I am to you, is just a means to an end, and the second I don't give you the end that you want, you're going to dump me? Okay, I understand. We can part ways.
I mean, the example they gave was kids telling their parents they want to be accepted by them, and it's honestly just sounding like they want respect. Which, of course, why would a kid not want respect? But Ruby and Jody hear kids asking for literally anything, and it's suddenly selfish. As if children should be little robots that obey their parents even when a child feels like their parent isn't even respecting them. And this is certainly why Ruby's own daughter has spoken out and said that she is no longer in touch with her mom because this group has completely changed her, and not for the better. Ruby is clearly okay with not being in communication with a child of hers, and it is just so sad. Plus, going back to their response, them talking about kids being the ones to criticize them, they've been getting comments about them being too strict in their ways and harsh for over a year now, and it's not from kids, let me just say that. A lot of people on Reddit and in their comment section have admitted to being mothers themselves or fathers or whatever, and can't imagine living in the mindset that these two have been. Plus, most of the people who've made videos of them talking about the things that they've talked about on their channel, covering all of that, has been adults. I don't even think kids could even comprehend some of the things that Ruby and Jody say in their videos, because I know a lot of us can barely understand it as adults with the way that they're always talking in code with their truths and distortions. I think these two just take everything to the very extreme in any scenario, and any sort of feedback that they get, they just really don't handle it very well. I mean, if they think that all of their haters on Reddit are just teens telling them that they are not going to be visited by their kids in the nursing home, or they're going to be put in a nursing home, that is just the most ridiculous thing ever. Because it's not teens telling them that if they keep it up, they'll be in the nursing home. It's literally adults, because they're like, you guys are not respecting your children, and they're not going to want to be in their lives. Which, I mean, these two have made it very clear, like, If you don't like it, we don't care. Get out of our lives, because that is something that Ruby has basically said in a video before.
People say, well, if you do that, then your child's not going to trust you. If you do that, then your child's not going to love you. Well, exactly. I'm just revealing that my child is refusing to love unconditionally. I don't want anyone in my life who's not going to be loving. So if my child will only love me if I give them what they want, then that's not really love.
So this takes a very strong soul, because most of us are not even willing to consider not having our children in our lives.
But like I said, these two just blow everything out of proportion nearly every single time. And it definitely happened once again when they were on the topic of the distractions. They started talking about celebrity crushes and how it's horrible for marriages. And I'm just sitting here thinking, unless you're like obsessed with a celebrity like Harry Styles and you have a cardboard cutout of him in your house and you're ignoring your partner to go stalk Harry Styles or whatever at whatever restaurant he's at, then having a celebrity crush is kind of harmless in my opinion. I do think that some people could be particular about this one, but I feel like if you're not weird about it and it's like a funny thing, it's literally harmless. And they were just blowing it out of proportion.
Celebrity crushes. My mouth's dropped open a few times when I've heard husbands and wives talk about this openly to each other, that it's okay to have this lustful draw towards somebody that's a celebrity. And that's totally fine. And I'm thinking, wow, your marriage isn't doing well. No, we're super happy. We love each other. Like, no, you don't. Because love does not go into distortion. And you just both have agreed to participate in this distortion, which is lustful, and say, oh, well, I just have this crush on this particular actor or actress or this model. And it's like, you're not seeing the destruction of the distraction there.
But despite all the criticism they get for their videos, these two are still pushing through and posting on a regular basis. And over the last year that Ruby hasn't vlogged her family and the state of her family has kind of been in question, some rumors were going around at one point that her and Kevin were no longer living together and that him and her eldest son had moved out of the house. Now, I'm not sure how true that is, but Ruby has talked about her husband in recent videos, which leads me to believe that they're still married. I mean, Ruby is all about living in truth, so she wouldn't really be lying about that, right? Like, that would be deception. And we clearly see how her and Jody don't stand for any sort of distorted version of reality. But Kevin has been inactive online and on the Connections group social media. He used to be in videos with Ruby, giving couples advice and parenting advice, and he was also part of their private Facebook group. But in the last year, he has not been in the Facebook group, and he hasn't been in videos with Ruby on Connections. It's really just turned into the Ruby and Jody show, which is so interesting to me because they used to have other people in the videos as well. Experts, other members of Connections. That's how Ruby and her husband Kevin got in trouble over that one Christmas, because the two of them were talking on there about their two youngest kids not getting any gifts that year for being selfish. But now he is nowhere to be found in the videos, and neither is anybody else that used to be. Some wondered if he realized how Connections was affecting his family and Ruby didn't, but we don't know that for sure. And it sounds like he's still involved in some ways, because their daughter Sherry did come out to talk about her relationship with her parents after no longer wanting to be a part of this group, and it sounds like she's not speaking to her mom or her dad, so it could only be assumed that he might still be involved in some way or still believing in some of the values that Connections believes in. I guess time will tell if this will be the path that Ruby continues on. She's given up a lot to continue this lifestyle, that's for sure. Her entire online presence, her family, it's so sad. Her and Jody have truly become one. I mean, she even transformed her whole Instagram that used to be dedicated to her family. It's now a shared account for her and Jody, which is so interesting to me because it's the exact same posts as Jody's own Instagram. Like, Jody has an Instagram for herself and Connections, and everything she posts on there is also what Ruby posts on her account that is now Moms of Truth. I guess we'll have to see what happens, but it's clear that as of right now, these two are saying screw it to those who have criticized them online and are keeping on with the show. I certainly want to know what you guys think about what they had to say about their haters and their haters being kids, and the fact that they might might actually be seeing the stuff on Reddit about them. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.